I tried to get online to watch the John Arbon Textiles talk, and I was told I had to log into Zoom, which I'm not sure is quite right. It's also very windy. I've just got to the train station all hot and flustered to be told that my train is cancelled. Now luckily I've got one train in hand. Yeah, I have one train in hand, so I can get on the next train and change. But that's not an ideal situation. And I don't want to be late for the train that gets me to Farnham because I've got my friend waiting the other end. So I've got to where I need to be, but my train is delayed again. I've just been sitting in the waiting room and I heard a very loud cooing above me. And I looked up, and this is what I saw.
The next station is Fanrham.
So that was Friday. That was the face-to-face in-person part of Unravel. It was a lot quieter than I'd expected. And whilst I knew that it was going to be a reduced festival, both in numbers of people and numbers of vendors, my brain hadn't quite processed how that would be to experience. So the last time I went to Unravel, it was very full, it was very busy, there was lots of energy. This time I was like, oh, there's not many people here, are there? Which, yeah, I'd known but hadn't quite clicked in my mind. Met up at the station. It was bucketing it down with rain. we were going to try and park in the Waitrose car park because that's where we parked last time. Only this time there were so many traffic jams around the town centre of Farnham, something to do with a roundabout somewhere, I'm not sure, that we went straight for the maltings, found a space there, possibly the last space going. So yeah, parked the car, went for coffee, I think at Costa. It was a coffee chain which wasn't Starbucks. Probably Costa, but I not really relevant. Went in at our allotted time. We did a once round, because this is something I always do at festivals where possible, is do a once round, see everything that's there, and then go back for the stuff that you really like. There were several stalls selling sock yarn, and I was like, that's amazing, that's really very cool. There was one that I was looking for which I didn't see on the second time round, because obviously if you don't note down what you've seen, you're gonna forget. Because there were fewer people than I was expecting, I was a lot more conscious in trying to do videoing. I mean, there were some people where I'd bought things, I sort of then said, do you mind if I video the things on your stall? And everybody I'd asked said yes. There were some other people there who were doing much more individual stuff that I wasn't going to buy, and I felt it was far too cheeky to go up to them and say, hey, I'm not going to buy your very nice individualistic artwork, but can I put a video of it online on YouTube? It's like, no. So there was a lot more to see that I didn't video, but I was trying to be discreet in what I was doing, and obviously there were a few people to hide behind. On the other hand, Jane said she really liked the fact it was quieter because she could get to see all of the stands properly without there being large crowds of people that you have to wait for and try and push through and all the rest of that. So I didn't dislike the fact that it was quieter. I was just more self-conscious because of it. I was going to make a dress out of sheep fabric to wear because I was so excited about going to an in-person yarn festival for the first time in goodness knows how long. I didn't do that, and I'm kind of glad now, because it would have been a lot of work and a lot of stress on a time limit when I'm not very good at sewing at the moment, when there would have been nobody there to really see it. So that's something to make a note of, and possibly something to do for a future yarn show, but I'm glad I didn't do it for Unravel. There was a one-way system in place, which was put in place to help with social distancing and people not mingling with each other unnecessarily, but also to try and make sure that you could see everybody as you went round. I was looking for Christmas sock yarn. There was opal sock yarn that I'm after, which I was looking for just in case. Sock minis. And I'd seen Anne Coyton-Bjerg, and I really wanted to go visit her stand. I'd seen on the website that she was there. Jane was looking for a yarn bowl to replace the yarn bowl of hers that got broken. So, we both went in with these are things that we are looking for. So the way the one-way system worked was that you went up the stairs, did everything on the top floor, then came down the stairs, did everything on the bottom floor, ending with the cellar bar. I think pretty sure it was the cellar bar. However, the entrance in to the cellar bar was just underneath the stairs. So you could very easily do the whole lot and just miss the cellar bar, which was about 3, 4, possibly 5 different vendors. So there was a sign up saying more people this way, which I'm very glad was there. We would have missed them otherwise. I mean, when we did the second time around, we didn't go and buy anything from there, but I did feel slightly for the people in the cellar bar that their location was kind of not obvious on the one-way route. The first time we went round, we walked past a door which had lots of people sitting in and knitting, and the door was open. I thought, oh, that's nice, there's a little chill out knit area. No, it was one of the classes that was going on. I think it was a COVID restriction that you had to have the door open to try and help air circulate. So I did nearly walk into somebody else's class by mistake, which would have been embarrassing had I done it. But no, I worked out what was going on, luckily. In the main hall, I saw a lady with a World Scout Jamboree backpack on, and I really wanted to be able to go up to her and say, "Oh, I was at that camp. Is this yours? Did you swap it?" However, she'd moved on far more quickly than we had, so I didn't have that opportunity. But that's such is. It would have been nice to have talked to her, but I didn't, and whatever. But I did see another scouty guidey person there, which was nice. Yeah, I think has the light just changed? It's been raining like nobody's business this afternoon, so the light levels are changing all over the place, and it suddenly looks very sunny. I mean, here it looks sunny. Outside, it just looks grey and sunny. So I got 2 skeins of yarn, some minis, and some other bits and pieces, which I'll show you in a second. Jane got 2 skeins of yarn. One was black and sparkly for a shawl to go with the yarn she already has, and one was yellow and pink from Waku Yarns, which is for a pair of socks. She decided against getting any of the yarn bowls because none of them spoke to her. They were all really gorgeous and really beautiful, but it's one of those things that if you're going to spend money, you want something that really sings to your heart, for want of a better phrase, and none of them did. There was a lot of really nice ceramic stuff on that particular stand. There were some ceramic pin dishes, again, all handmade, all really gorgeous, and I really, really wanted one of those. But again, didn't really have the budget, and I rather fear that if I brought it home, it would go on the table and be smashed within a week, because our tables get quite messy and I could see it being very easily knocked off. So I didn't, but it was really, really gorgeous stuff. After we made our purchases, we then went and had a cup of tea at the Farnham Maltings itself, at the cafe there, and sat, chatted. I tried to download some patterns onto my phone. My phone was having none of it, and then at that point, somehow through conversation, I worked out it was actually my browser that was the problem. I was trying to download stuff in Google and it wasn't, but when I used the Samsung browser on my phone, it was all absolutely fine, which was a bit annoying. Jane gave me a couple of ideas of sock patterns for James, because it's not his feet are big, he has particular requirements which as of yet I've been unable to fulfill. But she gave me a couple of ideas of patterns for socks for James, so that's kind of good. And then we got in the car and went back home because Jane needed to be home for her daughter. And it was bucketing in rain, and there was still a traffic jam. So I kind of had to jump out in the traffic jam, run to the station, only to see what I actually know. We were sitting in the traffic jam on the approach to the station and saw my train disappearing off to London. So I then had to wait again. Waited in the waiting room, which was brilliant. Would have been a perfect place to record some stuff, apart from the fact there were 2 other young ladies there who were having something to eat, and it was just like, I'm not going to start talking to myself in front of a phone. There was a half-hour wait on the platform leaving London, and I did get very, very cold. I could feel my teeth chattering because I'd made the stupid mistake of wearing the coat, which I was going to cut up because it's all kind of faded and worn and gone at the seams, and I'd already taken the buttons off. So I was wearing a coat that I couldn't actually close around me properly. In retrospect, should have taken my raincoat, but I can't pin my knitting badges onto my raincoat. That's why I took the fabric coat. Yeah, I did not think that one through. And then, came home and basically crashed out on Friday evening with pasta and a glass of wine. Now, the really weird thing is that on my journey home, I was just sitting there going, oh, yeah, that wasn't what I expected. I'm not sure I'm glad I did that or not. It's not giving me the buzz I expected. It was, feel a bit deflated. But then once I'd got home and warmed up and had something to eat, I was like, that was really cool. That was really excited. I really want to be able to go back again. I just really, really liked that. I don't know. That was my experience. That's just what my reaction was. I can't explain it. But I am very glad I got to go to Unravel Festival, and I got to go with a friend of mine, my knitting guru. I keep calling her my friend. She is actually my knitting guru. Jane is the person who told me about Stitch and Bitch and how she used it. That was one of the first books she got. I then got a copy for myself, and from there I learned how to purl, increase, decrease. Possibly other stuff as well, but you know, purls, increases and decreases are kind of big things when it comes to knitting. They're pretty basic skills. So Jane is definitely my knitting guru. She is always the first person I go to when I say, can I just check this? Or something's gone wrong here and I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm not sure what I've done wrong. I do it less and less now, but even when we were having coffee after Unravel, I was showing her the pattern for the seaweed socks by Wendy D. Johnson and saying, could I just check my understanding? Because I've read the pattern and this is what I think it says, but I'm not entirely sure. And she looked and goes, no, you're right. So yeah, still, after all these years, still my knitting guru. So I started off at the River Knit stall. I have bought things from them before, but not at a show. It was a shop I went to in Dorset that was selling River Knit's lace weight yarn, which I will admit I still haven't knit up. But I saw these. These are what they're called, Nenny minis. I think it's tomato, which is actually looking slightly more orangey, I think, on the camera than it is to me here. And lime, I think, is that one is. But when I saw them and I asked the lady there, can I ask, is this sock yarn? I mean, does it have nylon in it? And she said, well, yes and no. And she explained that it is sock yarn, but it's a nylon-free sock yarn, and it's made with a high twist BFL. So never used nylon-free sock yarn before. I will have to see how it wears. Obviously, being green and red, it's going to go for Christmas socks of various kinds. I think I know which one I want this one to go on, but I'm honestly not sure if there's enough. And this one I'm hoping will go with Gingerbread House, which was the Stranded Dyeworks colourway from the year before last. So what was that, 2019? So yeah, that was the first purchase. As I've already said, I'd seen on the Unravel website that Anne Coyton-Bjerg was going to be vending there. I really hope I've pronounced her name correctly, or the company name correctly. So from there I got this little pin, one of the cat pins, Sinister Cat pins, and the stitch markers, Sinister Cat stitch markers. Now I did have a quite long and ever so slightly depressing conversation about Brexit and politics in general with Marna, who, it's her company, she owns the company, and she did ask if I'd seen any of the European cats, the pro-Europe cats. I was like, I have, but I only have a limited budget, and I honestly, this was the one I preferred, the knitting one. There you are, that's the pin. The Sinister Cats saying, get your knit on. I have tried bringing it closer to the camera, but it will not focus. Then in the main hall, we went past the Coastal Colours stand, and this is a company I've never heard of, never come across before, and I bought myself some really rather gorgeous sock yarn. Right, now there isn't a colourway name. It's 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% silver sparkle. But it just, to me, it just kind of looks like sweetie colours almost. But it's so different from anything I have in my stash. And so pretty. I was like, yeah, you're coming home with me. You are coming home with me. Then the next stand we came to was the second person I was looking for, which was Tilly Floss Designs, and she has all sorts of stuff. Again, my budget versus amount of stuff I want to buy, there's a big discrepancy. So I settled for just one postcard, which is this one. All the yarn, not enough time, which is my life down to a T. Then as we were leaving the main hall, we went past the Waku stand again. Now, the first time we went round, Jane bought sock yarn from them, which was a yellow and red, really nice, really bright colours. We got talking to the two ladies who are sisters, and they said that Waku means family in the native language, sorry, the tribal language of their father, who comes from Ghana. So all of the colours in their colourways are inspired by African art, African culture. And they were gorgeous. They were absolutely gorgeous colours. And then from there, we had a conversation about wax print fabric and how Jane and I had been to the wedding of a mutual friend of ours who's from Nigeria, and how we were really impressed and quite amazed with the way the two families, the bride's family and the groom's family, are all given fabric, wax print fabric, and then they make their own dresses and outfits out of it. So you can tell who belongs to the bride's family, who belongs to the groom's family, but everybody had a slightly different style of outfit. So you could tell everybody was the same, or, you know, from the same family and from the same family, but at the same time, everybody was able to show their individuality with the way they'd done the dresses. And this is going off the topic of sock yarn slightly, but this particular friend had invited us to the engagement party part of the wedding celebrations, as well as the wedding, the church wedding. And each family had separate outfits for both. But, you know, for us, having never experienced that, it was a real eye-opener. But anyway, we had these conversations with the two ladies from Waku Yarn the first time round, and I saw a skein of yarn which I really liked the look of. And then the second time round, whilst my brain was saying, no, you've got one skein of yarn, you've got enough stuff, you don't need more, my heart was saying, but that's a really, really nice yarn, and they are really lovely people, and, you know, all of the colours they had were gorgeous. So I got this one, which again is kind of another sweetie colour, really, in a way, if you look at it. But again, like nothing I have in my stash at the moment. I think it might be too nice to be made into socks. I haven't decided what it wants to be yet. It hasn't told me. But the colourway name is Makala Market. And it's 75% merino, 25% nylon. So yep, that was my experience of Unravel in person. So yep, that was my experience of Unravel in person. Those were the things I bought. It was just lovely. It was just lovely being back with other knitters in a face-to-face environment, and I got pretty stuff. It's Saturday afternoon, and it feels really wrong recording this because in the background you'll see is Garthenor Yarns there, who are doing a talk at the moment. Now, my camera's off, I'm muted, so they can't hear what I'm saying, but it still feels really wrong, like I'm talking during a presentation, which I am, but I'm still in the mode of a face-to-face presentation. I have worked out how to see the stuff online here. Now, there's a couple of things that I've wanted to catch up on from yesterday and earlier today, and it's not 100% clear to me which ones have been recorded to be shown later and which ones are shown once, and if you've missed it, you've missed it. So there is some stuff to catch up on. I'm also not sure how long stuff is available for, but yes, I'm now partaking in virtual Unravel. So basically this guy is saying that every choice that is made either has a positive or negative impact, and we have to decide what impact that is that we want. So he's saying that Garthenor are very aware of that in everything they do. When we went to Unravel yesterday, the colours, as you can see, are absolutely gorgeous, but the whole rack was behind the vending desk. They were in the Great Hall on the stage area. Took up pretty much the whole of the stage area. So it was a little bit difficult to go along and actually have a feel and squish of the yarns that as I'm used to doing. Oh, right, he's also saying to sign up to their newsletter, because later on in the summer they're doing a free workshop about grading yarn. No, I didn't realise that Garthenor is an organic yarn company. What he's saying at the moment is that all of the wool is used. So once the wool has been washed and graded and whatever, the stuff that is too coarse or not the right quality to be used in the yarn goes onto their compost heaps. So everything is used. This is amazing. It's Saturday evening. The Unravel quiz and social thing is, well, it started 15 minutes ago. So that's fun. Oh, and now I'm going to have a problem with my computer popping up and saying, we can't do this and we can't do that. And did you want to do this, that and the other? And the answer is no, just take me to the bingo. This is mildly annoying. I can log into Virtual Unravel using the email that they sent us, but I can't access the event hub from their main website, it would seem. Visit us? No. What's on? Take part? No, I don't want to buy tickets. Oh, man alive. No, I don't want to learn a new skill. I mean, I do, but not today. That's what I'm here for. Oh, I've managed it. I have my bingo sheet. I have a pen. Yes, I want to launch the meeting. This is quite lovely. Eloise and Pauline are explaining how they got to know each other. So Pauline on the left used to run a yarn shop, which was 2 doors down from where they're filming now. Eloise used to be her customer, then became a friend, and then came in one day and said, I think we need to open a bigger yarn shop together. So they have. And they've said that they came up with a company named Cross and Wood. So if the whole yarn thing fell apart, they could still use it to sell other stuff. Because that one's already taken. Apparently this and this don't count as full lines. So we're talking about bingo numbers and how in the UK we have different bingo calls. And we had the conversation about, do we want the clean version or the raunchy version? And then the next one that came up was 63 down on one knee or down on your knees. And of course, that caused a bit of giggling. Just checking I'm still muted and my video is definitely off. We're partway through the bingo game. We've had 2 winners who've had a line each. Now we're playing for 2 lines, and then after that we will be playing for a full house. I am about 4 lines away from a line in 2 separate places. The penalty, if you call bingo when you got it wrong, is to sing a bad song. And because tonight is Eurovision night, it's so tempting to try and sing the Gemini song, Bye Bye Baby. Not many people would actually get that joke, but it's very, very tempting. Eight more numbers before I get the full house. 5 or 6 have been called and none of them are mine. It has helped though going through and doing the bigger crosses, because then I can identify which one's which, apart from the fact I nearly crossed out 24, which shouldn't be. This is getting tense. 26 and 68, come on. I had a flurry of several in a row and now nothing. I didn't win. I had one number left, which was 26. And I heard them say 20 and I was like, but it was 21, not 26. 3 people called bingo all at the same time. So they're going through a question, quiz questions things to try and get it right. First question, who's won the most Eurovision Song Contests out of the Netherlands and England, the UK? Quiz trick question, because it's a draw. It's exactly the same at the moment. The second question relates to a conversation which I had before I started, which is, of the yarns they have in their shop, which one unravels the most easily out on the shop floor? I do not know that answer. Not that I need to know the answer, but I do not know that answer. It is Sunday night and Unravel is now officially over. I woke up about 9 o'clock this morning We were having a conversation via WhatsApp as to whether we were going to be cancelling guides today or not. And when we decided we were going to cancel guides, I then tried to watch the second John Arbon video or maker showcase. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get it to work on my phone. And instead of getting up and looking at it on the computer, I went back to sleep and I woke up at about midday, which after 3 very busy days was absolutely what I needed. But I did miss out on stuff this morning, which I could have been watching otherwise. There is a Garthenor talk from Pom Pom magazine, I think, which should be recorded, which I did want to catch up on because it was broadcast during the time I should have been at guides, but actually I was asleep. Also this morning, I was looking at the Unravel Instagram feed, and they have done a series of videos each day going around the event and, you know, introducing you to people who are there. So I'll put the link to the Instagram feed down at the bottom here so you can go and have a look at them yourself. From one of the Instagram videos, I heard Alison saying that there have been tickets reserved first thing in the morning for, I think, people with disabilities who may need a bit more space to move around, and for people who are neurodiverse who would appreciate a quieter environment to be in. And they've also said that people who have tickets for Friday and Saturday can also go back on a later date with the same ticket if there are things they wanted to go and see or things they missed out on, as long as they go after midday. I only found out about this morning, and there was part of me going, oh, but I really do want to go back, which wasn't going to happen because trains on a Sunday are an absolute nightmare. If you ever try travelling on a Sunday, that's the day all the rail replacement works happen, and just no. But that was, I thought, really nice thing to do to give people more access to the face-to-face side of it. I'm guessing this was because they didn't sell all of the tickets and therefore had capacity to do that. I don't know. Overall, I think it's been a really successful festival. I found there were some technical hitches which they weren't insurmountable, but I did find them frustrating, particularly if I was trying to log on to things at short notice. For example, being asked to log into Zoom when actually there was something I should have done. That was a problem on my end. When I was on the Unravel website, I couldn't see a link that said, if you have virtual tickets, please click here to log in. But when I accessed my emails, I could then find the virtual hub via the link that was sent in my email. Again, that could be me, that could be the Unravel website, I don't know. When I went on to the virtual Unravel section, there was a bit that said, gave the times and dates for everything, but when you click on Sunday, nothing was there. But I know that stuff was happening today. But then there was another part of the website where if you looked up Sunday, it told you everything that was happening and all the different times. So I don't know, again, whether that was me clicking in the wrong place, a glitch on the website. I genuinely do not know. It was a little frustrating thing, but overall it wasn't a big deal breaker. There was also a bit on the website about social events that are being done online. And there were 3. There was the opening night party, which I knew about, but I couldn't go to because I'm helping a friend with guides. There was something from Wild and Woolly, I think it was on Friday night. And then the quiz this evening. No, not this evening, yesterday evening, which wasn't actually a quiz, it was bingo. And again, somehow I knew about the opening party and the opening ceremony, but I didn't know about the other 2. And I don't know how I didn't know about the other 2, but I didn't know about the other 2. And I'm slightly gutted because I love Wild and Woolly, the shop, and Friday evening I was free, so I could have joined in on Friday evening after I got back from the Real Life Festival. If the talks were being held on a day that I was going, face-to-face talks held on the day I was attending the festival in person, I would be more likely to go and watch them. Having some of them being played back at a later point, it's very easy for me to say, oh, well, it doesn't really matter if I don't watch it now. I can catch up on it later. If I was at a face-to-face festival, I would absolutely have to go and see them face-to-face, because it was see it or you'll miss it. Real life doesn't have a catch-up later option. So that's something I'm aware of. Having said that about being more likely to go to talks if it was face-to-face rather than virtual, it is also worth pointing out that whatever the setup, whether it was all virtual or all face-to-face, there would always be something that I would want to go to or want to be part of that I couldn't. There is not physically enough time in the day to do every single thing you want to do. So I would have missed out on something one way or the other. Yes, it would have been nice to have seen more vendors, but that's just not going to happen whilst we're dealing with COVID. There were enough vendors, I think, at the face-to-face side that I got introduced to new people. I found new yarn companies and new people which I wasn't aware of, hadn't been aware of before, as well as being able to buy from kind of old and trusted people I have bought from before. I really appreciated the safety measures that were put in place for people going face to face to try and keep people as safe as possible. So, everybody had to wear masks. There was the one-way system. There was loads and loads of hand sanitizer, and they had a tracking and tracing system in place. It was very clear that the festival organisers had thought about people's safety when coming face to face. I think my overall summary of hybrid Unravel is that I actually quite liked it. It's not an ideal situation. Face to face is always going to be better than online. However, given the current health circumstances we're in, I think the organisers have done a brilliant job of giving people the best possible experience. I just really love the fact that they have been able to do a face-to-face yarn show with all of the restrictions in place to try and keep people safe, but that's combined with the online stuff so that more people can take part, and people can take part from abroad. Our bingo yesterday that we were playing, there were people from the Netherlands, Germany, 2 ladies from America, possibly others as well, but I genuinely can't remember. That is my experience of the Unravel weekend, the hybrid festival. When I came back from the face-to-face on Friday, I was feeling slightly deflated about, why did I bother? It didn't give me the buzz I wanted to. But actually, as the weekend has gone on, I have really, really loved the experience. I've missed being with the yarn community. I've missed being around other knitters, and it was just a really, really lovely lift. Yeah, I can't say more than that. It was just a really, really lovely lift.